situation on both ends, and that feel like one of the more complete performance pretty good.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it was a good collective response, to our disappointing game in Atlanta. The starters really set the tone for the tenor of the game. Really just with the activity defensively, there were a lot of deflections and steals, and then a great deal of assertiveness offensively. The things that we talked about, like really establishing the paint, rim, free throws, that was happening early on, so we were able to control the game, and then the second unit came in and just continued that energy and effort, and that's what we've been talking about, is playing to our identity and getting contributions from both units inspiring the other. Second unit was terrific tonight as well. Max obviously had 10 assists, his career high probably at any level, and they're just really inspiring to be able to keep those leads and then to be able to carry that on in the fourth quarter as well.
There are 37 assists, kind of a sign of how well things are going, the execution on the offensive end, is that total, that number?
Yeah, the guys were making the right reads and not trying to overcomplicate things. If somebody's open, we hit the open guy. That doesn't mean you're always going to make the shot, but sometimes you can make it a lot harder than it needs to be. This is just a very simple game plan. Execute a trigger, create an advantage, and make the right read, and whatever is best, for the team in that the possession at that time. Nobody was really, trying to self-will anything during the course of the game. And, it's from a head coaching standpoint, it's nice to see a team really compete defensively and then share in the game offensively.
The starters have been doing pretty much all season tonight. There are no continuation of that. What did you like about what's clicked with that group in the limited time they've been there?
Yeah, I just want to see it through. I'm as curious as anybody, and I think we owe it to that group, to give them an opportunity to gain some continuity. But tonight, they set the tone for the game, and that was on both ends of the court. There was, like I said, at the point of attack, we were very good. We had a presence to us. We were physical. We were active. Tyler had a bunch of deflections in the first quarter. Kyle had deflections and steals. Bam was terrific in all the different coverages. And then offensively, those early attacks and the pressure on the rim and the paint, getting to the free throw line were all very good things to be able to try to control the game on the road.
How much of the bench unit success was the fact that against the starting round of the game one, some of those guys that were starting on the court and fall back into their...
Yeah, I think what I like about our group is that starters understand how important the second unit is, but also what they've had to sacrifice. When some of the starters have been out, our bench guys have stepped into that starting unit and played extremely well. And they're all humans. If you're playing great, and then starters come back, and then you're asked to sacrifice and come off the bench, that's not easy for anybody. But it takes both sides, having that grace, that support, that understanding, and knowing what our ultimate goal is, that everybody has to play a role. You have to sacrifice a little bit, but we need both units playing well, particularly to win on the road.
Last week, go ahead.
Spill for the fourth straight game, it's just been utter domination in the paint. What have you liked about the way that you guys are not just getting yours, but also being a deterrent for the other team in the same space?
Yeah, defensively, that's what we set out to do. It's easier said than done, but we want to control the paint defensively and try to prevent teams from getting easy baskets in this league. And then offensively, Kyle, Jimmy, Tyler, Bam were all incredibly assertive, right from the start of the game. And that's the kind of mentality we have to have. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to end up in one of those things, because we made the right plays as well. If there was help defenders there, we just made the easy play to an open guy. But we have to be assertive at the point of attack. We have to put pressure on Payne at the rim.
So Kyle had solid production for 22 minutes. How much of his workload was based on how the game went or how he felt?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't need to play him in the fourth, so I didn't try to force it. But his minutes, particularly in that first half, were really good. You know, he was a big contributor of setting the tone on both ends. You know, right out of the gate, you know, you want to set the tone for the game on the road. He had an early steal on a post up and a couple other physical defensive possessions, and he had 2 early attacks before the defensive was set. And that just kind of set the tone for everybody else to do something similar.
And nowadays the NBA points. What does that say about just kind of
I love it.
assertiveness?
Yeah, I love it. We all love the aggressiveness, and he's doing it in so many different ways. You know, I thought all the different pick and roll coverages that they did, we were making the right reads, but we ultimately want to get Bam involved as much as possible. We can't get the ball to him enough. And that's not just clearing out a side of the floor and trying to post him up. It takes a collaboration. There has to be a synchronicity of pick and roll basketball, but we don't want to go too many possessions where we haven't tried to get him the ball. And you know, he's great at getting all the way to the rim, and he was doing that tonight. But his paint shots, you know, right in the circle, that's such a go-to shot for him. And that's a credit to the work that he's put in, you know, particularly against drop coverages, to really be so efficient. You know, those little 12, 15, 14-foot shots. All right, thank you.